What do you do when the prayer didn't come in time? When the door closed? When hope was buried? This is the story of Lazarus, and it might be your story too. There was a man named Lazarus. He was loved deeply by his sisters, Mary and Martha. They believed in Jesus. They trusted him. They knew his power. So when Lazarus became sick, they sent an urgent message. Lord, the one you love is sick. They expected Jesus to come immediately. They expected healing. They expected a miracle. But Jesus didn't come right away. Can you imagine the silence? The confusion? The heartbreak? They prayed, but heaven felt quiet. They waited, but nothing changed. And then Lazarus died. Sometimes life feels like that. You prayed for the marriage, but it still broke. You prayed for the job, but got rejected. You prayed for healing, but the pain remained. You prayed for help, but the answer felt delayed. Mary and Martha buried not just their brother. They buried their expectations. For days later, Jesus arrived. Too late, right? That's what everyone thought. Martha met him with tears in her eyes and said, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. In other words, Jesus, where were you? Maybe you've asked that too. But Jesus looked at her and said something powerful. I am the resurrection and the life. Not I bring resurrection. Not I know life. He said, I am. Then he walked to the tomb. The place of pain. The place of disappointment. The place everyone had given up on. And Jesus wept. Let that sink in. The Son of God stood in front of death and cried. Because even when he knows the ending, he still feels your pain. Then he said, roll the stone away. People hesitated. It stinks in there. It's been too long. It's over. But Jesus doesn't need fresh situations. He specializes in dead things. Then with a loud voice he cried, Lazarus, come forth. And the man who was dead walked out alive, still wrapped in grave clothes, but breathing again. This is the lesson. God's delay is not God's denial. What looks buried can still be called back to life. The dream, the purpose, the joy, the faith you thought was gone. If Jesus can speak to a grave and get a response, he can speak to your situation too. So don't quit in the tomb season. Don't give up because it's day 4. He may be silent, but he is never absent. Your story is not over. If this touched your heart, type come forth in the comments. Share this with someone who feels like hope is buried, and follow for more life-changing Bible stories.